All right, I want to talk a little bit about insurance. And just from the perspective of things that you might not ever think about your own insurance policy. I had a conversation recently with my friend DJ Colter, who has been an insurance agent for a long time and is a business owner. And we're going to talk a little bit about the business side of insurance as well, but has 7-8 different businesses, so he's one of those guys. And I think you built them all too, didn't you? You built them, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
yeah. You and good folks working for you. I don't believe you got any help from President Obama, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so DJ and I were talking a little bit about a particular story with a client that he has regarding liability and umbrella policies. And I know when I think umbrellas, I think, I don't want to get wet. But what is an umbrella policy, DJ?
Well, I think, Scott, over the last 10 years and so many years back, when people heard like $1 million umbrella, they always thought that was for the rich people or someone that had a lot of assets. Nowadays, an umbrella policy is so big to us because of the way the medical bills have shot up. And, I had a situation here in the last 2 years where I had a client who, most common liability limits are what they call $100,000, $300,000, $100,000. Now, the state minimums are $25,000, $50,000, $25,000, but most common, insurance agents, and do that for their clients. I had a situation where a client hit someone, was at fault, and the person they hit was in the hospital for a week, and it was a $150,000 bill. And obviously, we paid out the first $100,000, and the last $50,000 now they're garnishing my client's wages because they didn't have that protection that they needed. And like I said, when I started 10 years ago, $1 million or $100,000 was usually more than enough in auto accidents. But now with the way the vehicles cost and the medical bills are shooting up, we're in situations now where I'm advising all my clients, and I advise all your listeners out there to really look at $1 million umbrella policy, because for the price, it just makes a lot of sense.
Let's talk about some other examples. You mentioned a vehicle, and really, in that case, an accident happens, and someone is hit in the accident. They're in the hospital a week. That's not a long time, but boy, it chewed up that $150,000, the $100,000 that they happen to have, and past $150 pretty quick.
Yeah,
I mean, I can think of scenarios that would be much worse than that.
I never want a client to ever be in that situation again. That was terrible because we all try to take our jobs. I know I do as an insurance professional, try to take care of my clients, and I never want to be in that again. Like I tell my clients, your house burns down. If we have that insured right, I can rebuild your house and your personal property and stuff like that. But you get in an accident, you're deemed at fault, and someone gets really hurt, and it's over 2 years where people aren't able to go to work, and there's all these types of damages and punitive damage, all these ways that people can hurt financially, and the courts award $400,000, and I have your $100,000 limits. I mean, we need an umbrella to help you. And just for the price, Scott, a lot of people always think, oh, it's so expensive, all those situations. Well, man, you have your auto home with the home, and a lot of companies now, and like us, we're giving a home discount where it can be anywhere for just a base, a couple autos, a home, $5 to $15 a month after that discount's applied. And it's just, the great thing about umbrella, if you have lake places, all those different assets can be underneath an umbrella. It can go over all your autos, really give you that extra protection. Little things about, libel, slander, malice. Anyone ever attacks you? What if you coach? A lot of people out there volunteering for a nonprofit organization or a church or helping out coach your kid's team. Gives you protection in those situations. A really big thing out there too is that we're starting to come in. We were heading to Bismarck yesterday and we got passed by a vehicle from Michigan with a family from Michigan, probably heading out west to get a job. And you could tell they were all over the road, hadn't slept. And, we're starting a situation where there's a lot of people, the economy's tough and they're moving to our area and they have the state minimums. They're just going to put the state minimums on.
Or no insurance at all.
Yeah. So the protection of uninsured or underinsured option that can really help you, if someone hits you and, you need that protection some way.
And $1 million umbrella policy, as you say, very affordable.
Well, it's just, I tell everyone that I sit down with, every one of my clients now, even just you have a renter's auto, you need to have a base auto, renters, or, an auto home. And then we can look at it and it can be anywhere. It depends on the discounts and everything, but it's so common sense affordable from anywhere. A base umbrella can be $12, but by the time you add the discount, $5 off your home, it could be just $7 more a month than you're paying now. Like I tell my clients, I'd rather talk to you about it now than you come in 3 years and say, DJ, why didn't you talk to me about this? For the price and all this extra protection I could have had,
And I was, a lot of the examples you hear about are sort of things you think happen to other people, but even something like, the kids are playing and a dog comes over, your dog bites the neighbor kid, you're liable, right?
A lot of people don't know the number one claim on homeowners nationwide year in, year out is dog claims. And that's a big deal. I mean, I've had a client in a situation where the neighbor's dog came over and bit a kid that was over on my client's property. He didn't want the dog there, didn't give her permission. It doesn't matter. That's the world we live in. Whatever happens
your property, you're liable.
You can be liable for. And if you're named in any type of lawsuit, why wouldn't you want to have something that can come in and help you for situations like that?
Yeah, and the price. What I really appreciated, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because stopped at DJ's office for a meeting, and he literally was calling every client to say, I want you to have this. I mean, that's the kind of service you give your clients.
Well, the worst part about my job, I don't want to ever call a client and want them to pay necessarily more in premium. But if I'm doing my job, I at least need to educate my clients. The whole goal with the call, emails, us as agents, we're just trying to educate our clients on options and the coverages they can have. One more thing too, Scott, to throw out there to your listeners is, I see more and more, the more I'm in the business, that, if you're under, that 20 range, maybe over that 70 or under 25, over 65 range, you get in an auto accident and it's a fight over who's at fault. Guess who's usually, the statistics have shown, who's usually deemed at fault. Like I tell all my clients that have teenage drivers, your checkbook's in the seat next to you when you take off. So when your kids are driving in your vehicle, you got to think that, you can be liable for their driving if they're under your, driving your vehicles. So this is another way that can protect you. Obviously, you're going to pay more for different higher risks, but the beauty of the umbrella policy is it's going to rate you on the risk.
What I would encourage folks to do, by the way, is find out if you can better your insurance coverage. I mean, it's you're going to sit down with them and figure out a plan, whether that's auto, home, umbrella.
Yeah. The sad part about my industry in the last 5 to 10 years of there's certain stock companies that come in and they just cheap, and they don't talk about coverage, and people need that.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that because there has been quite a change where a number of companies have left as a result of storms that have happened, and just basically, okay, we're leaving the market, and that's why picking your insurance agent and the company very important. So we'll talk a little bit about that too when we come back with DJ Colter. A little insurance 101 for you, and some chance that Chris Christie might still check in. I guess his plane has landed, so stick around. DJ, you're a small business person. In addition to being an insurance agent, an American Family Insurance agent, you own multiple businesses. Talk a little bit about the insurance needs of small businesses and how you can help consult them, being one yourself.
Well, one thing a lot of small business owners don't always think about, they always say when they're renting a building from a landlord or something, they usually require the liability coverage, and that's common sense. And, you got to make sure that you have your personal property, your business personal property, assets, cargo, whatever, thoroughly gone through and make sure that's properly covered. Another aspect, though, that business owners really forget is their business income, Scott. So if some type of covered, claim, a fire, something happens, how are you going to, keep your employees, keep them paid, situations like that. Being a small business owner, I have some experience in both retail and some online businesses and some rental property situations like that where I can help clients sit down with them, look over all their coverages. I love just to review where people are at. What have they sat down? I mean, they're paying a lot in insurance. When people think how many thousands of dollars they're going to pay for insurance over the years, they need to, every other year, sit down with their insurance agent, go through their business personal property. Do they have enough liability protection? Do they have their business income? And there's a lot of other little things. What if they're, have refrigerators? What if there's little things like that, are those properly covered? What are they all the things that, what if the hired auto, non-owned auto? What if people run an errand for you while they're working for you? And how that can come back to you.
Here's what I'd suggest. What do you have to lose? Find out if you can better your insurance coverage. I mean, you're working with folks every single day where you find a way you can help them, right? Save them money, get them better coverage.
Yeah, we sit down with people. I look over their total situation, see how we can help them. I lay it out there. Have you thought about these type of coverages? Do these make sense? There's certain people we can give them, a great deal. Some people, sometimes it's not all about saving money too. Sometimes it's just a few bucks more a month to be covered properly. And in this day and age, all it takes is one fire, one liability lawsuit, something out there, Scott. Why is us as small business owners put ourselves in this position that someone can take everything away from us? We work too hard. We bust our butts to, work 7 days a week sometimes to get where we need to be. And we have obviously, and our employees mean a lot to us. We need to protect our businesses and our employees. And you need to sit down with an insurance professional that has some experience in that can help you.